Hello, welcome to class. I'm Gracie. We're going to move through an improvisation class together. If you are new to improv, I will just be guiding you through for the next 10-ish minutes, and you don't need to really look at the screen. I'll be there for guidance, also dancing with you, but the idea is that hopefully this is a way for you to continue developing your own interpretation of some of the floorwork movements, also an ability for you to integrate some artistry if that's something you're interested in, texture and quality and dynamics and timing that you can put into some of the tasks that I'll be leading you through. So it doesn't have to look like me, it doesn't have to look like anything. Whatever you're doing is great and right. Let's get going. We're going to be working with the idea of tracing around us and on the body, and eventually some manipulation. So let's just start by finding a nice comfy seated position and just actually find a bit of tactility and awaken your body through touch. So just enjoy giving yourself a little bit of a massage down the delts and down the arm. Feel the forearm and the hand, and switch sides whenever you're ready. Just bringing a bit of blood to these areas as a little wake up. Feel free to go to the traps, the back of the neck, and then down the back to the glutes, along the thighs and hamstrings. Feel free to take your time anywhere that needs a little extra awakening or love. And also take time just to notice the architecture of your body, the muscles on the bone, down the calves, and then eventually to the feet, opening up the toes, massaging the bottom of the foot. So hopefully the whole body has been enlivened a bit. Once you're done, just find yourself in an X. And let all of that tactility just soften into the floor. Any of the tight muscles can hopefully just release off the bone. And then we'll start moving with what I feel like is an impossible task, but we continue to try. The idea that you can bring movement to the whole body all at once. So we've just brought some awareness to the whole body. How can you try to conceive of the whole body having movement all at one time? And let that be your guide as you start to feel a bit of movement in the body. Doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to move at the same speed or with the same intensity, but try not to leave out parts of the body like the head or the knees, the fingers and toes, the eyes even. And really just see if you can conceive of your whole body all at once. Again, it feels impossible, but we try. And then as you're continuing to find movement in the whole body, try to find ways that your arms can fold underneath you in order to support you. this kind of collapse and expand of the arms. And again, you can choose your own tempo here. So, thinking of the whole body moving at once, but also thinking of how the hands can support you, how the forearms can become a bridge to get you into and out of the floor. And also how they can start to provide a little more distortion. So you're beginning to awaken the spine or the legs in ways that feel a little more distorted and perhaps uncomfortable. Maybe surprise yourself by finding a position that you haven't ever been in before. And the idea of your whole body moving together might give you some suggestions. Maybe you haven't thought of how you can see your heel behind you. And just the action of your eyes chasing that body part might give a bit more distortion to the shapes you're making. And then with this awareness, let's become more aware of the tracing of the hands on the floor and how the hands can trace around the architecture of the body. So that awareness that you had of your hands can now come into play as you trace along the floor and around your body. And then start to let that tracing move off the floor. So it doesn't have to trace on the ground, though it can. It can also move off the floor, and that might lift your focus in a way that feels nice and a little less internal. So let your eyes also open. And then start to let these thoughtful tracing arms trace the body itself. So come back to the feeling of tactility. Feel the way the hands can help you clarify where the body is in space. lastly, start to think of how this action of tracing can physically move a body part. So you can physically let that tracing start to manipulate body parts in space. And this is our last task. So let yourself explore for the next 60 seconds. Anything that felt interesting, you can go back to a previous idea. You could maybe begin tracing with something other than your hands. You could also manipulate with something other than your hands. But let yourself enjoy whatever exploration you had. And let this be a bit of a resolve for this little experience. And take the next 10 seconds to start to slow your movement down. Notice the surfaces of the body on the floor. And let yourself end in an X again. Eventually finding stillness except for the breath. And just take your time laying here as long as you need. Thanks for dancing with me.